It was a quiet morning on the ranch when Karen decided to push the limits of her HOA authority yet again. This time, she had built a garage on my land without permission, apparently believing that construction could proceed unchecked just because she had a clipboard and the audacity to call herself a community organizer. What she didn't know was that the garage was on my property and that her actions would trigger a cascade of legal consequences she wasn't prepared for. I first noticed the construction from the ranch's security cameras. Trucks and construction workers had appeared out of nowhere, digging foundations and carrying lumber onto my land. Karen was at the center of it all, directing workers and bragging over the phone about her HOA-approved project. I sighed, realizing that another confrontation was inevitable, but this one had the potential to be the most spectacular yet. I activated the property PA system. "Karen, you are trespassing. This land is private property. Any construction without permission is illegal and will be documented. Cease immediately." Karen ignored the warning, pacing back and forth, pointing at stakes in the ground, and insisting that the HOA had rights over communal spaces. She seemed genuinely surprised when I drove out in my truck, property deeds and legal documentation in hand, making it abundantly clear that the land belonged to me and no HOA board had any authority here. Her face drained of color when she saw me approaching. "This is HOA land," she shouted. "No," I replied calmly. "This is private property. You are trespassing and interfering with construction permits. Leave immediately." The deputies arrived shortly after, prompted by Karen's frantic 911 calls. She tried to explain that the HOA sanctioned her garage, but the deputies immediately verified my ownership and confirmed that Karen's construction was illegal. Every step she had taken onto the property had been recorded on security cameras, creating an airtight record of trespassing, harassment, and unauthorized construction. Karen's attempts to argue were ineffective. "You don't understand HOA regulations," she yelled. The lead deputy interrupted her firmly. "Ma'am, these are private property rights. Any further construction or interference is illegal. You are trespassing and creating liability for yourself." As the deputies escorted Karen off the property, I ensured the construction was halted and documented everything for legal purposes. My security system had captured her actions in full detail. The workers, the trucks, the stakes in the ground, and Karen herself directing the project. The HOA board was notified immediately, and Karen's privileges were permanently revoked. Neighbors who had witnessed the scene were stunned. Karen had believed she could assert control over land she didn't own, build a garage at will, and intimidate the rightful owner. Instead, she faced immediate law enforcement intervention, documented trespassing, and the humiliation of having her authority permanently stripped. By the end of the day, the land was secure, the construction halted, and Karen's actions had resulted in a detailed legal record that could be used in court if necessary. This incident reinforced the fact that HOA members cannot overstep legal boundaries, especially when attempting to impose control over private property. Karen had thought building a garage on my land would assert HOA authority. Instead, she triggered law enforcement intervention, legal documentation, and public humiliation, all while my property remained fully protected. Karen tried to use the HOA to take control of my land. Instead, she faced legal consequences, embarrassment, and permanent loss of HOA privileges, proving once again that rogue HOA members cannot interfere with private property without repercussions.